yesterday, I heard a person say, a person of an outstanding leader, say that we are not a Christian nation, and trying to say that we have never been a Christian nation. And I thought, yes, that's how the devil tries to deceive us and get us to thinking, well, this is a secular time. We really should draw in our sails and bring Christianity behind four walls and let the rest of the world go. But that is not the case. You know, one only has to make a trip to our nation capital. And the Washington Monument, towering 555 feet in the air. You ever make that journey up the steps, you'll see different inscriptions that tell us that we are Christian. And when you get to the top, they're in Latin. It's written Laus Deo, which means praise be to God. I wonder if that person has ever realized that. When you make a trip to the various memorial monuments, Jefferson, Lincoln, etc., and the state capitol, the National Archives, Supreme Court, wherever it is, you see the signs of Christianity. In fact, George Washington, the founding father of our nation, the first president, after he had taken his pledge, placed his hand on the Bible and said, "So help me God." Then he said that no one could govern the world without the Bible or without God. And then let us look at some statements that some of our leaders have made that will refresh our memory of where we are. The President Lincoln, in his inaugural address, mentioned God 14 times and quoted 2 Bible scriptures. Out of the 108 universities that were first instituted, organized in the United States of America, 106 of them were distinctly Christian. Before the chapel was built for Congress, and for those that are attending there, in the Capitol building, there were services, religious services conducted. And Jefferson was there in those services. Services were conducted in the Supreme Court and other places. These people were religiously inclined, and not only religiously inclined, they were by and large Christians. 52 out of 56 of those signers of the Declaration of Independence were distinctly Christian. So we only have to look at our background, the foundation, to realize that we are a Christian nation. Would you say, Brother Hughes, what about today? What about this time that we have come to? A day when gay marriages are accepted, and the people clamor for them and parade for them and speak on behalf of them. They're not ashamed. As Isaiah said, they declare their sin is Sodom and they hide it not. What about those who are against pro-life and boldly proclaim what they believe? That abortion, over 50 million murders, are approved and accepted by these people. What about the fact that there are ministers being ordained in some of the churches that are gay? What about the greed and the avarice? What about this nation, some of the highest businesses of the nation where billions of dollars are collapsing before your eyes? And men and women have lost their way and have lost their vision and are misinformed. What about that? Well, this is true. But I do want to tell you that I still believe that the United States of America is a Christian nation. It is not that we are Christian and Muslim and this and that and the other, but we were founded as a Christian nation. And I believe that if true survey is taken, that you'll find that the majority of the people believe in the God of heaven and a Judeo-Christian belief and persuasion. In fact, it's recently told us that now 51% of the people in the United States are believers in pro-life. Well, I believe there are more than that. But they're beginning to recognize it throughout the United States. So we have come to a critical time and what I call a perilous time, what the Bible calls a perilous time. And when we look at the fact that in 1787 at the Constitutional Convention that Thomas Jefferson proposed that let every day when we open up our conference that there be prayer for the first thing. Now I know that we are in a terrible time when even when speakers go to a place they want to cover up emblems of Christianity. They want to try to blot out every sign of the Christian way. They cry out against the emblems and the symbols of Christianity. The whole world today is rocked by this. And those of you who are going out in the gospel work and are going to be facing this generation, you're facing a generation that's discouraged, disturbed, misinformed, confused, and really do not know the way to go. They don't understand that they're not to lean to their own understanding, but all their ways trust in Him, and He'll guide them and direct them in the way that they should go. But that responsibility comes to us. And we have come to that time when the Bible tells us that in the last days men will be lovers of their own selves. They will be lovers of money. That's the reason for the difficulty, or one of the difficulties that we're facing today. And the battle that we're in is not a human flesh and blood battle. This is a spiritual battle that we're in. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities, against rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Up above us there are principalities, there are kingdoms of demons that are at work. And the Bible tells us that the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, and speaking lies and hypocrisies, and having their conscience seared with a hot iron. We are in a day of feverish, devilish activity. And when we go out to war, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. We're in